Unsyndicated presents Off the Air with Sean Baligian.
Okay, so about this, Shep and I were just talking about this. Hi guys, how are you?
It's a good beat.
Yeah, it is. Well, you know what? We're going to get a band real soon. I've heard a little something about a band.
We're putting the band back together.
We're putting the band back together. Some people could say us two sitting here together is putting the band back together.
That's a good point.
So, how you doing? Everything well? Fantastic.
Did you have a good weekend, man?
I did, Shep. It was rather chill. I did Todd was with me. See Todd back there? Nobody else can see Todd.
Yeah.
We did a Tunnels to Towers event down at
Good
Motor
for
City
you.
Casino, and that was awesome. I mean, the amount of good that GM is doing for that unbelievable charity,
Incredible organization,
is incredible. It really is.
God love them.
Did a few shows.
So, are you going to be
Watch
the
some
next
hockey?
like Mark Wahlberg does it, and the guy from Yellowstone does it, and there's a few other actors. Are you going to be the next guy in front of the camera that says, wearing the bell cap instead of either a Spartan or a Habs cap, and kind of look into the camera and tell people just to donate a little bit?
Listen, I do anything.
$11 a month,
I would do anything that they asked me to do. Seriously, it is such a great thing that they're doing for so many vets out there. Yeah. It's awesome.
And actually, they're doing it for police officers, I believe, and firefighters too.
Well, that's close to my heart.
Yeah.
My late father, a police officer, and I think anybody that knows me, I'm all about the blue. There's no doubt about that. I don't think we can show them enough love. I had some flashbacks though, Shep, when I was down at Motor City Casino. Do you remember we used to do those shows down there?
Yeah,
that wasn't very fun. But hey, what about you? You had a lot of broadcasts over the weekend, right?
Yeah, we did the high school state championships. It was fun. I mean, those are always fun. Because you did the hockey the week before, and I was talking with a lot of folks down there about the hockey championships. I really sounded like I knew what I was talking about because I had just talked to you about it. And they were really excited. They loved the broadcast, and they work really hard at the MHSAA group. John Ross kind of heads that, and Mark Ewell. You and I both know him quite well, and it turned out really well. I mean, it was well attended. I thought we had some pretty good games. My alma mater got blown out in Division I, but
I saw that.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
No, but what a great run! Seriously,
good run.
There's a great run by North Farmington.
Yeah.
So
a hell of a lot better now than when I played.
Were you guys bad?
We were very average.
Yeah.
Very average. So I just got back from the gym. You just said you were.
I was there this morning. It's funny you say that.
Yeah. So I got back from the gym, and I don't know about your gym. I love my gym first and foremost. Absolutely.
Do you want to give it a shout out?
Sure. Beverly Hills Club.
Okay.
I absolutely love it. Here's my problem, and I wonder if anybody else goes through this. Some of the, how shall I put this? Some of the veterans in life feel very comfortable in their own skin.
Mm-hmm.
When you're done working out, I like to go in for the sauna for about 15 minutes, take a shower. When I'm in the sauna, the towel is over the head. Okay. There's a lot of guys who've been living life a long time, who are very free in their own skin. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, more than you know, because I didn't know you were going here. I have a baby carrot story for you in a second. That's all I'm going to say. If that doesn't tell you enough, I don't know what will. Old dudes walking around nude in the locker it's an epidemic.
It's a serious problem.
It's an epidemic.
I'm not kidding you, man. I'm like, dude. And here's the other thing. They come up to you and they want to have a conversation. Am I wrong?
Well, the baby carrot's just sitting right there.
I didn't say
and
that.
I did.
And I am.
I don't have any pot roast. I could use the baby carrot in the pot roast, but there's no pot roast there.
I could tell you right now, I know every stitching on my jacket because it was hanging in the locker. I did not take my eyes off it. So.
But look at all the nice people. Ben says hello. Ben, congratulations. The voice of the Motor City Rockers. They're playoff bound. Appreciate that.
Hey, way to go.
Forum West said hi. Yep. Brandon, Shep, Dude, so happy to hear you on. I miss you very much on the Tiger broadcast.
Thank you.
Nick yelled, Shep. Alex said, hey, guys, hope all is well.
I hope you're well, too.
Can I tell you the baby carrot story? So
I'm telling you, you keep saying baby carrot, I'm going to have a problem tomorrow when I go to the gym.
So if my son Jack is listening right now, Jack, I'm going to apologize to you, but I think most people know this story. Jack and I were at the gym maybe 6-7 years ago. I think he was still in high school. And I finished before him. So I walked in the locker room and there was a 211-year-old man, Methuselah, who was sitting there completely buck naked. And I'm going
with the tablets.
Yeah, just sitting there, the burning bush, everything, right? And so Jack is trailing behind me. So you walk around the corner and Methuselah's standing there with baby carrot hanging out. So I wash my hands and I come walking out and Jack comes walking in and I go, Jack, there's some kid over there that says he knows you. Jack gives me a look like, what are you talking about? I go, I don't know, right around the corner. There's some dude. So Jack walks around the corner and I wish I had video of this. He walks around the corner, takes one look, steps, turns around, does it like a pivot and walks around and looks at me and goes, what's wrong with you? Because I made him look at the baby carrot. So then what I did.
Your dad's demented.
Yeah, my dad's
he
knows that, Jack, So then what I did is the next few weeks when he would come home from school or work, wherever the case may be, I would sneak out the back door and just put like a little baby carrot on the hood of his car. So like when he'd go out to school in the morning, he'd see a baby carrot.
Should have packed his lunch and some baby carrots in a Ziploc bag.
And listen, it's like that baby carrot that's been in the stew all day, right? It's not like the fresh baby carrot.
It is. There are certain pet peeves we have in life, right?
Yes.
At the gym, people talking on the phone while they're working out that I can hear over my, Metallica and AC/DC and Rainbow and Van Halen and the like. And then to your word, the baby carrot belief. It's just, I'm here. You're going to have to be comfortable with it. Okay.
God bless. Like Ben said, this is a problem at all health clubs. The veterans of life have no shame and no cares in the world.
That's absolutely right.
I can't wait for that freedom. I'm going to walk around.
I can't say that I'm ever going to be that free. I think there's in all seriousness, there's a part in life now where people are not very conscious of anybody else. So I'll give you an example. This woman, I'm going back and forth, legs and shoulders today. I'm doing, cable stretches. Mm-hmm. Woman comes up, just takes it. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I just have 2 more sets. And she looks at me and just continues to use it. And I said, ma'am, you see this right here? That's my water bottle and that's my towel. I'm using the device. By the way, there's 4 other devices around there that she could have easily grabbed, the handle, another handle. It didn't matter to her. Another guy's walking around. Hey, Sean, what's going on? Yeah, listen, while he's working out. Hey, man. And then they look at you. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. Mm-hmm. They look at you like you're the jackass because you're telling them if they could keep it down, even though there are signs throughout the gym, all over the gym. Cell phones not allowed.
Oh, it drives me out of my mind.
Just all you got to do is take 4 steps up, and there's a little lobby right there that you can talk to somebody.
The thing that drives me nuts. Okay, so now we're going to go through. I was chest and arms today, so I go to the fly. And there were not one. So there's 2 fly machines. There's not one, but 2 dudes that are just sitting there like this texting on their phone.
Yeah.
Just like, honestly, like, and I'm the type of person, Shep, like I'm not joking. When I go to shout out to Planet Fitness in Northville, I'm the type of guy, when I go in, I'm going to do my set and I have it down to a science where it's literally 33 minutes because I'm flying. I'm flying. I mean, it is really, legitimately, I could make it 45, but it's just like boom, boom, boom. I'm there for a reason. Yeah. I don't want to talk to you. Like, no offense. I'm not trying to be rude. Right. When I'm done, I see you on the parking lot, whatever. We'll BS about what's wrong with the wings and carrots, can the Tigers really
smoothie? Yeah.
What kind of carrots do you use? Do you use baby carrots? Do you like literally, Shep, 33 minutes I can fly through it. And dude, what are you doing? Like, you can't put your phone away for like a half hour. For a half hour, you can't go put it in a damn locker.
Yeah.
Like, just, you're there.
Or if you're listening
minutes.
to Spotify or listen to, maybe you're listening to a podcast like ours or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. But do you have to be, is it that important?
Dude, I don't get it. I don't.
You know what it is. I mean, there's a lot of people, they're so important. They got to make sure everybody knows I'm talking to somebody. I am important.
And I don't get it. Nick said, reminds me of the call to Rome about Larry Brown's crank a foot from a guy's face in the locker room. Todd said, I feel like they do it to see if they can win the stare down battle. If they can get you to move to the other machine instead of engaging, it's the little game they play to feel better about the lack of control they have over the rest of their lives.
I think he's right.
I think
he's absolutely right about that. Speaking of right and wrong, what's wrong with the Wings?
Listen to that segue. Oh, he's such a pro. See, this is what happened. You bring a pro in here. It brings a level of legitimacy, okay? Shep, I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I'm not. I hate speculation because I don't know. All right. And I'm not going to talk about something I don't know unless I know.
But you do observe. There's a difference between observation and speculation.
I think that's a good point.
Okay.
I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out something's wrong, and I don't know what it is. And I'll tell you why. The level of compete to me is very disconcerting. And so I'm about going to win a shift. Mm-hmm. Like if you focus on, all right, it's my line. I don't care what line you are. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. You're rolling 4 lines. Okay, great. I'm going to go out there. My 35 seconds, I'm going to win my shift. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like, I think that's important to keep that mentality, and they are losing shift after shift after shift after shift, except for Lucas Raymond. Look, I see Lucas Raymond, and there's a huge compete out there. And as somebody said, Nick said, Wings allowed 40 shots on goal last night. Nick, correct me if I'm wrong. And I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I left it upstairs again because we were talking about this last night.
Sorry, your dog's eating it. Don't worry.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that little maniac's eating it. Well, you know what? His comeuppance, he's getting snipped in a couple weeks.
Which maniac?
So
got 2 maniacs.
We'll see who's laughing in a couple weeks. It's not so funny when you lose your testicles. So,
how do you like that carrot?
Yeah. What now? Yeah. Carrot's not working so well now, is it? They had 5 shots on net. I think it was 6 minutes remaining in the second period yesterday. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
What was even the final? I don't even remember 6-3. What the final.
Yeah, 6-3.
No, but the shots on goal, if you don't mind me asking, if you can look that up.
I think Pittsburgh, according to the statistics, Pittsburgh had 37 shots on net.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How many did Detroit end up with?
Detroit ended up with.
So they picked it up from that 28. Point on. Yeah, they picked it up from that point on. But it was ugly.
Here's what I noticed. It helped me with this a little bit. I noticed Detroit takes so much time and effort getting the puck out of their zone that by the time that 35 to 40 second shift is over, they've got to change lines.
Yep.
Like that those are, it seems like the ice is tilted more oftentimes than not. And then I thought of this. This is a team that won 6 in a row at one point, just a couple of weeks ago, and everybody was touting them as a possible playoff contender. And I get it. Then they hit the skids for 7 straight, beat Buffalo, and lose again. Where's the momentum change? And where did something go wrong? Was there something wrong that was hidden during the 6-game winning streak that we didn't notice because we were so giddy that they were winning? Or is there something not quite as bad as we thought during the 7-game slide because we're only focused on the result?
In my mind, and if you've watched this show or, listened to me on the radio before I was fired, I always got to throw that in there.
We've all been fired.
Shep,
multiple times.
So Alex Lyon was masking a lot of their issues. Right. There's no doubt about it. I don't care what anybody says. I think I hope you guys could all agree. Defensively, they have issues. We know that. I think those deficiencies have kind of manifested themselves in a big way lately. Alex Lyon has never had to be the man. When he had that great run with Florida last year, I think people forget. Everybody talks about the great run to get them back in position, but it was Bob. Bob was the guy that took over, and Bob was the guy that took them all to the Stanley Cup Finals and everything.
He's a good backup.
100%.
Really good.
There's nothing wrong with that. And again, if you look at Steve Yzerman's history, he's used guys and was able to get as much as he could out of them. I go back to that first run he had when he took over in Tampa that nobody saw coming with Dwayne Rollison. Do you remember?
Yeah, sure.
Dwayne Rollison was 10 years past his prime, right? Yeah. If there ever was a Dwayne Rollison prime. But it fit with Tampa, and they went on that little crazy run. And then, they kind of came back down before, Hedman and Stamkos and the rest of the group kind of came together and everything. So to that point, I think he masked a lot of their deficiencies. The problem that I have, Shep, and this is a problem that we've had in this town forever, and I know I texted you. I'm serious. And on the last day of the season, not last year, the year before, you had, I don't want to call it a rant, but you said, I think the problem that we have in this town is a lot of time we look at our own and we put them on a level. And I remember I texted you. Remember that? I literally texted you. Yeah. I go, Shep, you said that perfectly. And you said it classily as well, because I think you can be a jerk when you say something like that. And I think we've done
at the end of the Tigers season.
Yeah, the end of the Tigers season. And I think we've done that a little bit with the Red Wings. I think we've kind of put guys on a pedestal that they don't quite yet deserve to be at yet. And I think we've put this team on a pedestal that they don't quite yet to be deserved at. Playoffs would be great this year. I don't think it's a deal breaker or anything like that. But this is a team that's not ready to compete.
Why do we do this? When we say we put players on a pedestal, are we unique to it? And why do we do it?
I don't think we're unique to it. I think in this town, especially in this era, okay, this era is as bad as it's been even in our lifetimes, okay? It has for all our teams across the board.
Yeah.
I think that we are so desirous of getting back to where we were, that I think we want to put the cart in front of the horse.
It's called hope.
And there's nothing wrong with it, but it's almost like we were talking about with Dylan Larkin when you and I were together.
Yeah.
People get really mad when you say that Dylan Larkin is a really good number 2 center. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. Like,
that's how you win cups.
I'll take Dylan Larkin on my team every day of the week.
For sure.
And I think people want to, I don't know, maybe put him in a category, especially during this losing streak where, a lot of people are out there saying it's as simple as Dylan Larkin being out. Would he help? Of course he would help. Mm-hmm. But I think that we're all apt to do that. I mean, Shep, as good as Alex Lyon was, and he was, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, you had some people saying, okay, well, this guy's in MVP conversation and stuff like that. And it's like, what? Pump the brakes a little bit. Let's just pump the brakes a little bit there. I wouldn't go that far. MVP of the Red Wings, of course. Yeah, I think you could make that argument. But there are so many little pieces. Like, where's DeBrincat been? Where's Alex been? And I love the kid. I've seen him since he was 15 years old. But where's he been?
Right.
And, you add it all together. I look at things right now, okay? The Islanders are nothing special. Patty Waugh got them going for a while, and now the Washington Capitals are in the mix.
I know.
Look at their roster. I'm not being funny. There's nothing there. Yeah. It's not like there's getting
some
great
names, but I'm sorry, Ovechkin and Oshie, they're just it's not the same thing.
I think Dylan Strome is leading it. Lindgren's an okay goaltender. He's probably been playing over his head a little bit, but there they are in a position to steal a spot.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be happening right now.
They have to be stunned right now.
Yeah.
Well, I look at how well Carolina's playing too. I mean, the Hurricanes as well as anybody. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you, that starts with coaching. Brindamore's a guy that gets it. I'm telling you. So when I was down there, the games I did down there, it was when Peters was coaching, then I did one when Brindamore was coaching. There's something to be said about a guy like that gets it, that's not too far removed from his career. Playing at the highest level, he's not too far removed from playing. And Shep, I think he checks both boxes in the regards that I think he can get away with doing and saying some of the things he can because he's earned that cachet and that respect. And yet at the same time, he understands the guys, and he's not going to push too hard. These guys are professionals, okay? I mean, at the end of the day, and sometimes you get, here, let me give you an example. Scotty Bowman. Could Scotty Bowman coach today? I'm not sure.
Why?
As much as I love Scotty Bowman, I think today's player doesn't handle being pushed like that. I think the hard asses are a thing of the past with this generation. I really do. And I love Scotty.
Well,
I love Scotty. I'm not sure if that would go over today. I'm serious.
It surprises me a little bit that you say that, because I think hockey players generally are a little different. But maybe you're right.
This generation's a little different. I know I sound like an old man. I don't have a baby carrot, but I know I sound like an old man right now.
Why does it work for Tom Izzo?
Would you say,
although college and pro, which are two different things?
Yes, and would you say that Tom's even lightened up in the last?
No.
You don't think so at all? You don't think so at all?
I think he's changed maybe a little bit, but I don't think he's lightened up. Here's part of our issue. Part of our issue, unless you know the coach personally, and I know you know Lalonde, but part of the issue is we only go based on what we see on television. Now, you and I are fortunate because we know some people in the business and we're able to talk to them and get a feel for it. I hesitate to judge coaches based on what I see on TV. It's a quick snippet.
No, good call.
Cut away to a coach. Oh, there's a problem right there on the ice. Let's take camera 3. Let me see Lalonde's reaction. All right. I used to go through this all the time with people in Michigan basketball and Tommy Amaker. He's not emotional enough. What do you mean? Every time I see him on TV, but you're only seeing him in certain times. That. You're seeing him when he's got the huddle and trust me, when I tell you he's emotional, it doesn't make you a great coach, by the way, but when I tell you he's emotional in practice, I can promise you he is. The passion is there. The fire is there. It doesn't always translate. It doesn't mean you're a great coach or you're lacking something. I just hesitate to say this guy doesn't have it because when I see him in a cutaway shot on television, he's not doing what I thought or think he should be doing.
That's a great point. I remember Shep going to some of those games when Tommy Amaker was there, and the Tommy Amaker that you get the snippets of and the Tommy Amaker of reality aren't exactly the same things.
Right.
Nick said Izzo kind of admitted he can't do the stuff he's done in the past. I don't think he's as that Izzo. It still happens. I just don't think it happens as much. I really don't.
But I think you're probably right there. It probably doesn't happen as much. But there was a game earlier this year I was watching where his team was up late and he literally took a kid. I don't know if it was Sissoko or Hogarth. He says, "What the blank are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And he was just beat red and screaming in the kid's face. I know people who attend his practices and they are as intense as they've ever been.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like coaches say things in the media and they're doing something different. I'm not saying it's Tom Izzo. I'm just saying sometimes, we're trying to please a lot of people and we're trying to make sure people don't start digging on certain situations. So it could be. I don't know. That's a little disappointing when it comes to hockey because I've always felt that sport, those guys were willing to get after it. And I don't know another sport where they use certain 4-letter words in such great spinning adjectives / nouns / verbs and all the other things.
Listen, I don't know for sure, but just an observation. And I know from talking to some coaches at different levels, a lot of guys have said, and this isn't, I'm really truly not going like full old man, you kids out there. I know a lot of coaches at different levels said that in the last 10 years, kids are different. And I don't know what the reasoning is, society. I don't know. I have no idea. But I can tell you definitively is I know a lot of coaches have said some of the younger kids are different.
Who are the hard asses in sports? As a coach, give me the hard asses in sport. I don't care what sport it is. So immediately I think John Tortorella.
Torts would be the first guy that I would say.
Okay.
I don't think Torts I don't think his anger is directed at the players as much as it used to be at all.
Okay.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
more at the media.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And the referees.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think you have to start with torts. Boy, there aren't too many anymore, right? I mean, think about it. Who else comes to mind?
Yeah.
If I'm because I mean, even Bill Belichick, Bill Belichick, gruff Bill Belichick, Bill wasn't a scream at you type of guy. Bill is, well, just cut your ass.
Exactly.
But
that's still a hard ass. It's just a different form,
it's a different
right?
kind of hard ass,
Yeah.
Well, it's a good question, Shep. I'd have to rack my brain. I don't think there are a lot of coaches like that anymore in hockey, for sure. You know what you're getting right now? You're getting a lot of the players' coaches, like Brindamore, right?
Yeah.
Marty St. Louis in Montreal.
Yeah.
They love Marty St.
Hope
Louis.
everything's all right there because I know he's on leave. Let me ask you this: how important?
Joel Quenneville.
Joel Quenneville's a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doug said Joel
Quinn
Quenneville.
Snyder. I didn't think of Quinn Snyder. Was he? I know he's a player.
I remember his anger when he was at Missouri. Boy, didn't it always seem like he was pissed off when he was coaching? Maybe it was because he was at Missouri. I don't know.
Yeah. It also looked like he was always sweating.
Yes.
He didn't look healthy. Do you think it's important that today compared to in the past that the coach has played?
No. I think it helps. I do. I think it helps because they've been there and done that. But is it integral? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it helps. There's no doubt. I think I'll go back to Brindamore. I think there's a respect there.
For sure.
That this guy has been there. And
what
he's done
sport
that.
where it matters the least? Because think about this for a second. Who's the best coach in football?
Right now?
Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Not just because he won a Super Bowl, but look at what he's done, right?
Yeah.
Never played.
Well, he's got that fantastic footage from punt, pass, and kick
that we've seen over and over again. It's like the Kershaw Stafford story.
No, that's
who's the best coach in hockey
right now? Boy, that's a great question. Does somebody hold that mantle? I don't think I could pick one right now. Really, really and truly, I don't. I know a lot of people would say Cooper.
Okay.
I think a lot of people would say Cooper.
Did he play?
No.
Okay. Who's the best manager in baseball?
Tito, but he's gone. No, who do you like?
Didn't play?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people tell you Dave Roberts, although he's underachieved.
Yeah.
Dave Roberts played.
Yeah.
He was a good player.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe there's a little something there. Greg Popovich is still widely considered an excellent coach in the NBA. Probably Steve Kerr, right? Steve Kerr did play.
Mm-hmm.
Popovich didn't.
That's a good point, Shep. No, that's something to ponder. It is.
And the best coach at the collegiate level, from a basketball standpoint, and if you want to look from a football standpoint, until he retired, Nick Saban. Where's the credentials that he had?
No, there's no doubt about that.
And at the collegiate level, I mean, I suppose people would say Calipari. He's got to be in the conversation.
Has to be.
Right? Bill Self. Do you guys remember them as some outstanding player?
Never forget.
With the Fab 4, 5, 6, 7, or anything? I don't.
You know what's funny? Kirk Hunter, who coaches at the high school level, said parents, teachers coddle the kids, and that has made coaches softer. Shep, I'm sure you've heard this.
You are dead on.
I have heard this from more coaches in the youth ranks, and when I say the youth ranks, I mean junior, and obviously high school levels.
Did you say Utes? Yeah.
The two Utes. The COVID thing just screwed kids.
Oh, big.
It screwed kids.
Big.
And there is, and I think it screwed a lot of parents of kids too, if the truth be told. And so this is a different breed of kid that has come up the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. It is. And it's, I'm not even pointing the finger at them. Yeah. I think it's the circumstances that they've had to endure and all of that. And to be honest with you, that's where I was kind of basing the start of this conversation is this generation has changed, and it's kind of changed on the fly, and it's not their fault, but here we are.
I don't know if it's not their fault. Look, Kurt, I want to get back to what Kurt just wrote, and I think it's excellent. Parents, teachers coddle the kids, and that makes coaches softer. So my question is, do you coddle your child? If you know that a teacher is, do you say something about it? And here's what I wonder. I'm calling the state championships this past weekend. I won't necessarily, well, we did say, we did have the story on the air. There was one of the coaches whose team lost, but they were 8-7 at the time. They had 14 players on their team. They were in Indiana for a basketball tournament, and they were playing a team from South Carolina that beat them by 30. They stayed up till 7 o'clock in the morning. This is from the coach. They stayed up till 7 o'clock in the morning with a team meeting. They went from 14 coaches, or 14 players, I should say, to 9. The coach got rid of the guys who didn't buy in. And the reason they weren't buying in, parents. The parent is going, Sean, don't listen to your coach. I want you to shoot the ball when you come down in the front court. And I saw it at the state semifinals. I see parents in the stands. These kids are on the floor, and the kids are looking up, and the parents are telling them what to do.
1,000%.
That's part of the problem, I think, that Kirk's referring to, and it's a great point. Why do we allow it? That coach had the carrots to say, you know what? You're not going to be on this team if you're not willing to play by what we think is best. You have to be all in. You're not getting that. You're not getting it from the kid, and the parents are only hurting the children. Now that kid, who was a starter, by the way, when they let him go, is going to transfer and go someplace else. Mm-hmm. What does that do for him socially?
Well,
all those things.
And Shep, that opens up a whole different can of worms. Now, if you don't like something, instead of sticking it out and working through it, you can just go, I'm out of here.
Exactly.
I'm going to transfer. Even at the high school level.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real. I mean, and I'm not just talking the private schools. I know everybody likes to just say, oh, well, he took the easy way out. He transferred to, all the usual suspects with the private. There's school of choice now.
No doubt.
You're just, I'm going to go there now.
Yeah. Isaiah Jackson, who plays for the Indiana Pacers, played at Old Redford 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
He played at 3 different schools in high school.
Unbelievable.
But my son, I remember he played college lacrosse. There was after a game, he got in, he played really well, but only played for like 6 minutes. As soon as he got in, he scored 2 goals. They pulled him, didn't play again. Afterwards, he's looking at me, he's like, this is, you know what?
Yeah.
And he says, I don't know if this is how it's going to be. I don't want to be part of this. I said, hold on a second. We're just a few games in. I said, you make sure you keep busting your ass. He's only a freshman at the time. You keep busting your ass. By the end of the season, he's starting. So which was great. The point is, the mindset immediately was, hey, wait a minute, man. If this is how it's going to be, what happened to competition? Damn it. What happened to, you know what? I'm going to beat you out. You're better than me right now, but you know what? I'm going to give it all I got to try and unseat you.
I don't get it.
It's gone.
It happens in our business. Let's be honest. I mean, it does. It happens. And then you get beat down and you don't want to do it anymore. But that's it. That's a story for a different day. Pete said, I think people conflate coddling with not yelling. I don't think you have to yell to get your point across.
Agreed. There's no need for that.
No.
I mean, there are certain times.
I'll bag skate your ass. I can bag skate you without yelling.
Yeah.
And I could very quietly say again. I don't have to go all Herb Brooks on it. I can just go again, and bag skate you. But no, that's interesting. Todd
but here's the only thing, Pete. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
The only thing, Pete, is that sports and life can be very emotional. And I'm sure there's times where you get emotional. If somebody's not doing what you think they should be doing, or I say this to my kids all the time, the thing I hate most is seeing talent wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And somebody else doing something that you should be doing. That can be emotional. So I don't think yelling is a problem. And if you're not yelling, I don't think it necessarily means you're coddling either. I think it means you're kind of keeping things very even keeled. But at some point, if your point's not getting across as you're even keeled, I'm done. I'm going to have to take a different tact. So I think there's parts of that involved too.
I need to tell you about our friends at Legacy, because Shep and I just BS for 35 minutes.
Wow.
Did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? Our friends at Legacy Partners are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents. They provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. I say it all the time. Put them to the test. Don't take my word for it. Call for your quote. They will prove it to you because they have helped many, many people out there by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you. And oh yeah, help save you some money. Who doesn't want that? High inflation. Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you are paying too much and could be underinsured. What are you waiting for? Give Legacy Partners a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, or business insurance needs. Call them today, 586-209-4106, or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quotes. Give Joe and Alex and Dave a call. They'll take care of you. Just get a quote at the end of the day. Okay, I had a coach text me. He doesn't want to go on record.
Yeah,
right?
that's fine.
He said, it starts when you see parents carrying their kids' sticks and bags into and out of the rink while the kid is just lollygagging his way in and out.
Love it.
I don't want to say that on the air. I don't want to get people all riled up, but
right,
that's where it starts.
One of the
You're right, coach, unnamed coach.
100%. One of the things I loved most about hockey, and I never played. You did. I never played, but I love the fact that all three of my boys played. Wanted my daughter to play too, but she'd have nothing to do with it. But what I loved most is getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and taking my kids to a 6 a.m. practice and watching them carry a bag that they could literally fit into, right? Not the rollers, but they'd have 2 sticks in one hand, the bag over their shoulder in the other, and they're kind of stumbling forward. They look like the carrot man at the gym when he just comes out of the sauna, leaning forward, right? They never complained about carrying their bag. They looked forward to it. You go through practice, you have a blast, you go out to breakfast, memories are made. There's something about that sport that forced you to be, this might be a little dramatic, responsible early on in life. You take your bag in, you unzip it, you get yourself dressed. I may have to tighten your laces a little bit, but you zip it up and you carry it out to the car.
Yep.
It's great stuff.
You know, Jeremiah, I hope you don't mind me saying, Jeremiah's daughters played at a high level of softball, and he said that's a big no-no. Parents that carried their kids' baseball, softball bag to the field, that's an instant cut. Yeah. Isn't that funny how that works out? No, I agree with you.
Great story here, Jeremiah, is very similar to that. I was with a head football coach in the NFL, and he was telling me a story about how when he was on the staff of a specific coach at college at Cal, they went to recruit a young man who was going to be a transfer.
Okay.
All right. And he was not a Division I player, but he was going to be able to transfer over. All right. So he's a junior college player. And he was a high-end talent, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. They knew that this young man liked ice cream. So they brought him a quart of ice cream, really good ice cream. They go to his house in California. They sit down at the kitchen table. They're talking with his mother. He gets up. He goes over, grabs the ice cream, scoops it out, puts it into a bowl, sits back down, and continues talking. The coach who is recruiting him is talking to him, talking to the mom. The mom is very sweet. The head coach gets up and he says, "That's it. We're out." The assistant coach looks, he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" The head coach says, "You're a selfish son of a bitch. You didn't offer your mom any ice cream. You didn't offer your guests any ice cream. You're never going to play for me."
Wow.
And they left the house.
Wow.
That's how intense it was. Now, this is a long time ago, but it's a good story.
Yeah.
About
gosh.
What they noticed about the kid at the time.
I can't wait to ask you who those people are. You have to tell me, please. I won't share it. I promise. Off the record. Hey, can I tell you about our friends at Wealth Advantage Group? This is a cool thing about like chatting with your friend is you're like, oh yeah, I actually have reads to do. And not just reads, because these two guys are my friends as well. Mike Husak, Jeff Husak. And if you're ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group, located in historic downtown Northville and owned by those two guys, my friends, my old next door neighbors. They have over 20 years of industry experience. They are taking care of my family as well. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, getting ready to sell your company, or already in retirement, they can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients through all stages of life and have clients in over 20 different states. The investment world is a complex one, so if you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it's time to call my friends. Call the experts. Reach out to the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773-8574 or view their website at www.thewealthadv.com. So that's the way it goes. Make sure you give them a call. They'll take care of you as well. Shep, I'm looking forward to it. I don't get a chance to do this much. I'm actually in the next few weeks going down to LCA as a fan a few different times.
Good for you.
I'm going with one of my old buddies tomorrow, one of my oldest friends. Shout out to Ted. So I'm looking forward to going down there and then going to a game a couple weeks after that. And that's one thing I can tell you this. So for years, I was involved in the Lions stuff, right? And you were as well. Whether it be a pregame show, a postgame show, television, radio. The funniest thing, last year, Thanksgiving, true story, and I think you can probably relate to this with as many hats as you wear. You don't think about this as a father. It's Thanksgiving morning. I'm sitting in the front room watching the parade. My daughter walks downstairs and just stops, like dead in her tracks, and just looks at me with like her eyes wide open and her mouth like wide open, just like looking at me. And I'm going, what's up? Like, what's going on? And she said to me, she goes, Dad, do you know you've never been home on Thanksgiving?
Really?
And I literally sat
like
there.
Thanksgiving morning or all day?
I'm gone all day. Because you got to remember, Shep, like for me, I had to do the dumb TV show, like at 9:30 or whatever it was. And then it was go to the game, do a post-game show. Thanksgiving to my children was always 6:30 at night. You know, when I got back, half hour later, Jack walks down the stairs. The exact same thing happened. I have completely rediscovered my joy of like just going to a game. You know, sometimes with your boys, you know what I mean?
Watch it differently though?
As a fan, I do 100%.
I watch games on television and in person completely different than I ever did before I got into business.
Yep.
Like I'm sure you do too, because we both do TV. You're watching games. You're watching how a director and a producer cuts. You're watching, you know, if what the announcer is saying is being supported by video and things of that nature. When I go to a game, there's too many times where I let people in the vicinity saying things that to me don't make a lot of sense get to me a little bit. So so for example, I went to the Wings and Avs game not too long ago with my son and his buddy who plays in the Avs farm system. And this guy behind us was screaming, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing? And my son's friend leans over. He explains the entire situation, what exactly a player was doing at the time and what he was looking for that we just don't always see.
No.
And I've done it too. I become involved in it. When you and I would sit at Ford Field, high atop and we're looking down the lines
like this.
Yes, and you're hearing somebody from the media just throw it to Golden Tate. He's wide open. I'm thinking to myself, dude, if you cover this team, he's going through a read projection. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's not necessary. That's not his first read. His first read's here. His second read's there. His third read might be there. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I that's kind of how I get sometimes a little spoiled. So I'm watching games, and sometimes it takes all my might to just go, that's not a good lane for him to shoot the puck, you know, or at a
shoot.
Yeah. Hit him. That's my favorite thing. Hit him. Just hit him. Well, okay, that's a big man there. He's skating. He's got a weapon in his hand, and you're supposed to be defending that guy over there.
Yeah, so, I'm going to throw myself out of position if I do that, but I better listen to the guy in row 23 in section 217. Why'd you do that? There's some dude yelled at me. I got to hit him.
Yeah, don't you see Portal 11 up there?
No, you know what's really funny though, Shep, is so years ago, and some of the listeners to the radio shows in the past, we used to go to Red Wing games together after we got off the air at the Fan. It was like the late Tom Kowalski, Angry Doug Todd, myself. And Killer would get so mad because he'd go, I'm never going to a game with you guys. You guys don't say anything, right?
Oh.
Because like I just sit there like this during a hockey game. Like because I like to see the little things. That's like you were talking about your son's friend. I like to kind of read the play, and it's so easy to do when you're up top. You can't do it when you're on the ice, but when you're up top, you like to do that stuff. You know what? Now I like to go. I'm going to have a beer in one hand and a kielbasa in the other.
Right.
It had been a long time, because it was always you were always thinking about. Well, I got to talk about this the next day, or how can I spin this, or how can I turn this into a topic and everything. Like that's the one good thing. Like honestly, I forgot what it's like to sometimes just go to the game and let's go to a baseball game, Shep.
Yeah,
okay?
I do enjoy going to games, but I like talking during games a little bit about the game that's going on. The thing that frustrates me sometimes is you'll get a friend who's like, "So what have you been up to, man?" I don't know. I'm trying to watch Dylan Larkin feed Lucas Raymond right now. I mean, we can do that on the way there, on the way back, or having a beer. Or how about in between periods?
Yes.
Can we chat then?
Yes, absolutely. No, I couldn't agree with you more. So no, I'm looking forward to that though. That's hit some coney beforehand, right? I love conies. Gosh,
I might go get one right now.
Boy.
Look at Doug.
There's one just a couple miles down the road, man.
Doug says when I played, I carried my own goalie equipment. That's awesome.
And that's not easy.
Yeah, I know, especially with those pads.
See, Angry Doug Todd chimed in. Just be quiet and watch the game. It's not that hard. See, ADT.
It's my favorite. Didn't you coin that phrase? It's not that hard.
It's not that hard. It's not. It isn't that hard. Can the Tigers compete this year in the Central?
Absolutely.
Because I just look at the Central and like Shep, it's not good, right?
Yeah.
Nobody jumps out to me. I mean, even the Twins, you don't go or anything like that.
Nobody scares you.
No.
I go into most games looking at the other teams, in this case, dugout, their other bench, whatever. And I think sidelines, how many of those guys do I want?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And with Terry Francona now gone, that's a big difference because he's a hell of a manager. He's a Hall of Fame manager. You can't deny that. I don't think there's anybody on Minnesota. I mean, I really like Byron Buxton, but he's hurt a lot.
All the time. He got hurt again today. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he's got a bad back. Unbelievable. He's hurt all the time.
Unbelievable athlete. I think Georgia recruited him as a receiver. He could have been a wideout at Georgia, but that's how talented he is. But he's hurt all the time. There's not that many people. They've got some good young players, but there's not that many players on the other teams in the division that I go, man, I got to have that guy. I love that guy. Like I really like Luis Robert. He can be a dog at times, but he can be a star too. He would have to play a little different for me, but I really like him, right? They've lost a lot of their pitching. Chicago. Can Detroit compete? Absolutely. What they're going to look like, I don't know. A lot of things have to go right for them, right? But I mean, is Kenta Maeda going to be good? Is Jack Flaherty going to be good? Is Shelby Miller going to be good? We don't know that just yet.
Isn't it amazing, though? It's funny that you mentioned Luis Robert because you know what? A few years ago, when you talk about some of those pitchers who have since left, and Jimenez, right?
Yeah.
I literally thought to myself, the White Sox are going to run this division for 10 years.
Right.
Like forget about like the Tiger run from 2011 to 2014 was awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, this is their division for 10 years.
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
I'm going to say this again. Okay. And this, I say this to Red Wing fans and with respect to Steve, rebuilds are not anywhere as easy as you people suggest they are.
Well,
and yes, I went Don Cherry on you and dropped you people.
That's good.
It is not that easy.
It's not just that. It's that when you think you have the right players in place, sometimes teams excel on more than just talent alone.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a guy like Eloy Jimenez is a good player, right? He can hit, can't field, doesn't have a good arm. Do we know about these players' work ethics? And I don't say just him, I'm saying work ethics overall. Something is amiss when you have Yohan Moncada, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, Andrew Benintendi. That's a lot of talent right there. Tim Anderson, a lot of talent. Andrew Vaughn, a lot of talent. Why in the world were they not successful?
And Abreu couldn't wait to get the hell out of there.
Couldn't wait to get out of
there. That tells you something.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
So what I'm telling you is talent doesn't always win. Give me talent and work ethic. Give me the guy who wants to bust his ass every single day. Now, do I need talent? No question. Jim Leland used to say it all the time. You know that. But you've got to have guys who set the right example and are workaholics.
Lil Zachy Short. Give me a team of Lil Zachy Short. He worked so hard. His little legs were always running so hard.
You know what's my favorite? Here's one of my favorites.
All right.
You interview the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, little Sean's making his debut today. How do you feel? Oh, he worked so hard. I always used to get a call back, talk back to the truck. What, like nobody else worked hard to get there?
Right. Not that bad. Yes, Brandon, good memory. Doug said, not to get off the hockey subject, but will there be an NFL draft show? Yes. We're doing something, in case you missed it, Doug, with our friends at the Detroit Sports Commission. Hopefully Shep can be a part of it. I'll check with him and see what he's doing those times. But yes, we've been having special shows thanks to our friends at the Detroit Sports Commission. And we are going to be doing a couple different things. I know one we're going to be doing in Detroit itself. More news on that in a second, soon.
Jack wrote Lil Zachy.
He loves Lil Zachy.
Angry Doug Todd said the Tigers will compete for the AL Central if Javi Baez keeps that batting average above 145.
Was that frustrating to watch last year? Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'll tell you what surprises me a little bit more. Because first of all, let me just say this. Javier Baez is a good dude. He really is. He's a really good dad. He's a really good husband. I know that doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people. The defense surprised me. Mm-hmm. Like, he makes some spectacular plays, but his arm, like Spencer Torkelson probably saved, I'm not exaggerating, 12 errors, 12 throwing errors a year ago. That's what surprised me as much as anything. I knew he was a very volatile offensive player. Sometimes he's up, sometimes he's down, right? Very wild swing, leaves the zone a lot. If that surprises you, you didn't know who Javier Baez was before he came here. The defense surprised me more than anything else. Okay. So I thought he might be a guy who would play second base eventually. If they had a shortstop to move into that spot, that should surprise and disappoint people too. They don't. And they've drafted a lot of them. And it hasn't worked. And that's a problem.
By the way, Jack, if you're still watching, I told everybody the baby carrot story. I hope you're not mad at me. But if you want to go back and watch, we talked about baby carrots because Shep saw his own pot roast earlier today. So I had to share the baby.
I didn't say the pot roast. I said I was studying my jacket in the locker.
He put the frown face. Jack, it's an epidemic. You know it. They're way too. I'm Sean Baligian. And I'm here to tell you about baby carrots in the locker room. There has been an influx of baby carrots in the locker room, and we need to do away with baby carrots in the locker room. So will you hide your carrots the next time you're in a locker room? Like one of those, like Mark Wahlberg sitting there all buffed up and everything, talking about baby carrots. 40 years since the last Tigers World Series championship. I always use my son as an example, Shep. When guys like you and and I'm sure you don't have any memories of 68, okay?
Yeah.
I was so damn tired of hearing stories about 1968 when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I hated it. I knew that team like the back of my hand.
68?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally at 12 years old, I could have told you their roster. I could have told you that Denny McLean won 31 games. Mickey Lolich won the 3 games in the World Series, pitched that gem, out dueling Gibson in Game 7, blah, 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 blah. I was so sick and tired of hearing about 1968. And then,
except Mayo Smith, because there's Mayo in there. I know you love mayonnaise,
with that BLT.
Yeah.
But no, listen, Shep, then our generation had our 1968, okay?
Right.
And now there are generations of fans, diehard fans, and generations, not singular, plural, that feel that way about 1984. And my son is one of those kids.
I think so. Yeah,
my son sits back and goes, oh, great, we've got another 1984 celebration tonight. Yeah. And it's like, and it stinks because we came so close. You know, the one, Shep, to me, 13, forget about the true trips to the World Series. That 13 team had everything. That
Lost
series in Boston.
Yeah.
It just rips my heart out. But that is unfortunate that you have so many diehard fans like my son who just loves the Tigers. They haven't been able to have their moment yet.
Or there are certain players.
Yeah.
I would say I don't think Jack's alone or any of the fans are alone.
Sure.
I think players get tired of it. Gibby told me in Los Angeles that Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers were so tired of hearing about 1988. There was almost resentment, and then they finally won the COVID-shortened season as a World Series, which to me, whatever, a little bit of an asterisk next to it. But I think kids, they're looking for, like, they were holding on to Miguel Cabrera. Jack's holding on to Miguel Cabrera. You and I and many of the fans out there who remember 84 had Trammell and Whitaker and Gibby and Chet Lemon and Larry Herndon and Lance Parrish and Dave Bergman and Darrell Evans and all those guys, Jack Morris and Dan Petrie. We love those guys, right? They're always beloved. But I think there are some people who are like, you know what? Enough is enough. My response to them is, well, not fans, players. Then get better. Win.
Yeah. And
people will absolutely love you. And they'll cherish you, and you'll own this town.
They don't understand it.
But you got to go get that done, right? We live in the past in so many different situations, right? How many times growing up with your kids did you say, you know, when I was a kid, ... And it gets frustrating. Well, this is the same thing. My oldest son once said to me, he goes, Dad, I've heard you talk about so many stories about Trammell and Whitaker because I loved them. Those are my two favorite athletes in Detroit history. Just loved them, right? Especially Alan Trammell. And he's everything you hoped he would be in getting to know him. And I've been very fortunate in my life to be able to actually play golf with my hero and know him and talk to him on the phone and things. And I said, my son said, I want my Trammell and Whitaker. And I said to him, I don't know when it's coming. Like he was like, Jose Iglesias, please. He was hoping Iglesias and Kinsler, whereas Trammell and Whitaker. I said, it's a far cry from it, my son. But God love you. You got to groom those guys. Baseball, I think, as much as any sport, probably baseball and hockey. You've got, well, I shouldn't say that because football too. Draft and develop.
100%.
You've got to get those guys.
100%.
And especially up the middle. How many people love Jake Rogers? He's really good defensively. He's got a really good arm. He's not Lance Parrish, though. Okay? You hope Cope Keith is at least Lou Whitaker. He ain't defensively.
Yeah.
Lou Whitaker had one of the strongest arms in all of baseball. Okay? There's no Alan Trammell. And is Parker Meadows / Riley Green Chet Lemon? I'm sure they can be. Defensively, they can be. And I bet you at least Riley's better.
Can we keep Riley healthy? I don't want to see him go down Buxton Road.
I don't think he's that kind of guy. You know, when he broke his foot, you know, running when he hit the triple in spring training against the Yankees, some of his injuries are from being really aggressive.
Yeah.
I suppose you could say the same thing about Buxton. I don't think Riley's like that. I think moving him to left field is a really smart
move. I agree. Move. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My son said after the past 5 years, I'm just happy we're shaping up to actually be competitive this season. Jack, absolutely. They can compete for this division. Like, do I think that they're going to win it? I don't. I'm just telling you right now. And I'll tell you why I don't think the pitching staff has the depth yet, although Scooble's an absolute stud. Yeah. I don't think you and I have talked about it. I don't think the average person understands that we have a special pitcher. And I mean that. I have no problem saying that. I think Tarek Scooble could be a very special pitcher, Shep.
Yeah, I think he could be an all-star. There's no doubt about that. I think they are in really good shape. I think they'll compete for the division. I don't know, like you said, I don't know if they're going to win it. They sure aren't the best team in the American League, or I think they're far from it. However, if they stay healthy, I think they're going to be really fun to watch.
Yep.
You know?
Ben, again, another shout out to the Motor City Rockers, playoff bound, took 2-3 over the weekend. I'm glad I don't have to talk about the 97 championship anymore now that Michigan won the Natty this year. I mean, I will, point. But yeah. No, 100%. No, because you
notice that what's similar in those two teams, right? They got a lot of pros. I mean, you love Michigan State. I respect Michigan State. I played with some of the guys who played on that Rose Bowl championship team with Todd Crum and those guys. Those guys, they had a lot of pros on that team. If you want to win, you've got to have pros at certain spots. The more, the better. Now, I know Ohio State has had a lot of pros and they haven't necessarily won, but they're competing for it. Okay. Look at the teams on a regular basis who are winning national championships in sports. They have guys who are going to play at the next level or have already been drafted.
You know what I think Michigan did a really good job of? And of course it's going to tie back to Michigan State. You know that. But how many times did we hear during the D'Antonio era? And many of you argued with me incessantly about this. Well, their recruiting grades, they just can't compete with Ohio State and Michigan. And you know what's funny? If you coach guys up, there's a level there. And Jim Harbaugh did a lot of that the last couple of years. Those were not the much ballyhooed recruiting classes. And you know what? He took those guys and he turned the 3 into the 4 and the 4 into the 5, and he made them fit. And I have respect for that. And I'm going to say it again. Undoubtedly, talent's going to win. Okay, that's the way it is. Talent's going to win. Guys that are going to go on to the pros are going to win. But it doesn't mean that you can't win without having those ballyhooed classes. Michigan, and I used to argue with so many of you about this, Michigan definitively proved my point. I don't have to argue it anymore. Jim Harbaugh, there's my example. And I would always point to his Stanford team, that Stanford team that finished 4th in the nation and what were they, 11-1, whatever the case may be. And
with luck, you're saying?
That was a team. I mean, granted, they had, an incredible talented quarterback. But if you did the math, those recruiting, the 50th ranked recruiting class here, the 40th ranked, the 45th and things like that. You can't put a price tag on coaching guys up.
What D'Antonio and Harbaugh both had were really good assistant coaches too. Okay. And you have to have, we've kind of run the full circuit here, but you've got to have a hell of a strength and conditioning coach too. I mean, and that's part of your staff. I'll look at Brady Hoke, for example. Brady Hoke had some good classes. But to your point, he had coaches who were not Big Ten coaches on his staff.
Not at all.
Nor was he. With all due respect.
100%.
You've got to have guys who can get the most out of those players. And those players obviously have to be committed. But you've got to have some studs there. And they have to be buying it.
Doug asks, so who do you have, Michigan or Michigan State in the Big Ten Hockey Championship?
Ooh, that's a good point.
I give a tip of the cap to the job that Brandon Naruto has done the last couple of weeks. I don't think a lot of people thought that Michigan would be in this spot right now. And listen, a couple of weeks ago, people were wondering, if there was a postseason tournament for Michigan. Let's be honest. And I think that they earned their way in. The way Michigan State's playing right now, and at Munn, I listen, and I know he's going to make fun of me. Of course, you're picking Michigan State. I'll take Michigan State.
Well, the reason you're taking them, it's not just who you're taking it, but why. Goalie.
Yeah, Trey Augustine's been tremendous.
So when you have, there are certain. I've always said this. There are certain positions in sports. Goalie that can turn the tide. Quarterback, right, and starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Really important.
Yep.
So when you've got Trey Augustine, who's arguably the best goalie in the country, I said arguably.
Yeah.
He's a difference maker.
They've got a real good mix right now. I think Coach Nightingale would tell you.
Great job.
When you can say to the opponent, which way do you want this to go? We can churn you out with our lines. We have a tremendous defense core, including a guy who's going to be a top 5 pick. And we have a stud in goal. How do you want this game to go? Gordy said, make this Shep and Sean thing a regular thing. Really enjoy hearing Shep again. Make Sean better. Shep is one of the few dudes that can match Sean's knowledge. Great show, guys. Thanks. Thank you. I agree with that. You want to do it again on Wednesday?
I would love to.
Let's do it again on Wednesday. So
I can't believe how fast it goes, though.
Dude, I told you it's incredible.
I'm going to get a Coney.
It's so much better than those dumb radio shows.
Oh, I thought you said the Coney was going to be better than a carrot.
Coney's better than anything. Let's be honest. Before we get out of here,
it's good for my workout too.
You kid? That's why I work out more. I'll do an extra 5 minutes. There's my elliptical. That's the equalizer right there. I'll come down here at 11:30 at night and do 20 minutes, and that justifies me eating 3 Conies.
And the brownie right next to it really helps.
It's the dangle the carrot in front of it. Everything
we've come full circle.
Everything comes
We've come full circle.
Let me tell you about our friends, Lindsay Broadwell and her team. When it comes time to get yourself a house, whether you're buying, selling, or both, you need to contact the right person. The person I recommend, Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you will ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business. Now, when it's time to move, our friend Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and that everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyers, sellers, first-time buyers, doesn't matter. She's got your back. Make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She will help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. Yet we are going to do this, Gordy, to your point, and thanks for the kind words. We are going to do this more often. We'll be back Wednesday, same time, 1 o'clock. Always a pleasure to see my pal Shep. Thank you guys for joining us. Lots of stuff. I think we have What the Puck. I'm working on a couple special guests that day. I can't say yet until I definitively know, but I teased this yesterday, Shep. A wing and a local guy. Two guys that played in the National Hockey League. And then next week, I already know who it is, but I'm not telling you. That's a tease in the business, all right? So Shep and I will get together, then What the Puck on Wednesday night. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day. Tell your friends about this. Share it on, Todd, what do I say? Share it on podcast and like and all that stuff. Like you can find it on podcast.
Don't let him fool you. He knows.
Twitter, all that stuff, okay? See you guys. Bye.
Off the Air with Sean Baligian, featuring Sean Baligian and Blake Matrazak. Produced by Todd Losey and Blake Matrazak. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Play It Loud by Jam Studio. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the unsyndicated podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Off the Air with Sean Baligian on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.